This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
It's 10:07 on a Thursday morning. The views expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we encourage you to like and share them on Facebook. It's time for Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce, US 1 between Orange Avenue and Avenue A in the historic Arcade Building across from City Hall. And now, here's your host, Joanne Augusto.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I hope everyone's enjoying this morning. And thank you for listening today. I appreciate all of you. And I need to do a special shout out this morning to one of my listeners. It was a pretty cool thing. So we were at Regal Paint in St. Lucie West, because we have a lot of walls that are bright and white, and we need to put some color on them. It's like, woo, a lot of white. And so we're checking out all the colors, and I'm talking to the guy about satin, eggshell, and then all of a sudden he looks at me, and he's like, "Are you Joanne?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "From the radio, Joanne's World of Nutrition?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I listen to you every Thursday." And I was like, that is so awesome. So Brian, good morning from Regal Paint. So yeah, we're getting Benjamin Moore, because I remember growing up with my dad, he's like, if you're going to spend the time painting, do it right, do it quality, so you don't always have to like go over it when it loses its luster.
And when you're on the radio every day, be careful when you speak in public. Somebody is going to hear you and know exactly who you are.
It's been happening a lot recently, so I'm like, really, it's kind of crazy.
I ran into Greg Wyatt the other day, and he said, "You sound like that guy on the radio."
Is he allowed out of his office, Greg? Go sit down. Go back to your desk.
No, he's okay. He'll come hand you a note if anything strikes him funny.
Oh, I see.
You know.
Okay, I love it. Yes, I love it. It's like a little entourage there. So it was really cool. So Regal hooked us up with little paint samples, because it's overwhelming. You think you know what color you want, and then all of a sudden you say, "Yeah, I know." Oh my God. But we were trying to get, healthy, low odor and all that good stuff. But it's crazy. You think you know what color you want, and then all of a sudden you see like 80 different swatches, one degree off from the other. Yeah, so we're going to do like paint rows with the little paint samples to find. And we're doing like that color that's so popular now, that silvery bluish gray. I don't even know. I mean, literally, it's like so tricky. You put it in one part of the house and it's like looks bright and blue. Another part looks dark and gray. Ooh. It's crazy.
The lighting.
I would never want to be an interior designer.
No.
Like my sister Val, she's amazing. That's what she does. And one little shade off.
Wow.
So we want to welcome all our new listeners. So welcome if you're just tuning in. My name is Joanne. I own Nutrition World downtown Fort Pierce. And we start off every show with centering ourselves, focusing ourselves, and getting all the bad junk that might have already happened this morning out of our minds and thoughts. So
it's easy as breathing.
It's easy as breathing. Oh, I like that slogan. Very nice. So we're going to do some 3 deep breathing exercises only using our nose. We're going to take in for 5, hold for 5, release for 5, and Cliff, the expert counter, is going to sound us off.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let's exhale all the junk, the negativity, the red lights, the aggression and the driving. Okay, let it all go. Here we go. And ready, Cliff?
Ready on your mark. Get set.
Go.
Start the inhalation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one more. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've now been completely restored and refreshed.
Oh, boy, this is my favorite part of the week, doing that breathing exercise. And, of course, talking to all my listeners.
It's fun. Some people do it at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great, right?
Yeah. The longer you do it, the better it is for you.
I know. It's really amazing how breathing helps us. And I have an exciting journey planned tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yes, Isogenics, which is my favorite line ever that helped me get to the weight that I feel suits me the best and helps me feel healthy and strong. And my kids love it. It's a whole superfood company. They have their big convention in Nashville, which I've never been to. You know, I'm a country girl at heart, so Nashville is super exciting to me. So Matt and I and Jennifer, we're all going to leave tomorrow and come back Wednesday. And we have my good friend Julia, who used to run my vegan cafe when I was in Sable Palm. She's going to run the store. And I'm really excited. So it's going to be learning about all new superfoods and seeing a lot of testimonials about, you know, transformations in health and energy and autoimmune conditions and a lot of crazy stuff that's happening and overcoming it. And that kind of gave me the motivation to what today's topic is. So today's topic is going to touch on the topic of autoimmune diseases, conditions. And that's a very broad topic, so I'm going to maybe repeat myself from past shows as far as what to do, but I think we all need refreshers on what's the right thing to do to make our body strong enough to keep those conditions away or help the symptoms of those conditions if we have them now. I know I need to remind myself and my children every day to really make better choices so these things don't end up plaguing us later in life. So the first thing that I want everyone to do as they're listening is kind of take inventory on how do you feel? You know, like, how do you feel? Like, what's going on? You know, mind, body, soul, head to toe. How do you feel? Like, are you waking up aches and pains, tingly? Are you feeling energetic? Or you feel like your eyes are heavy, that you never get enough sleep or you can't get enough sleep? Like, take an inventory. Like, normally with nutritionists, if you actually went for a consult, there might be 6 pages of questionnaires that you would fill out. And sometimes with doctor's offices, depending on the specialist you're going to, it might be like 1, sometimes 2, but those are more geared towards what meds are you on, what surgeries have you had, where the nutritionist is going to sit down and ask you a ton of questions, sometimes daunting amount of questions. But those are trying to really get you to be aware of what is your body doing for you. So I love my analogies, and I was kind of thinking here, Matt and I are in this new house, and we're going through to-do lists like crazy, and we're trying to prioritize them to what is important. So I was thinking that's exactly how we should think of our bodies at the same time. So if you go into a new home or, you just bought a home, you wouldn't start going to the store and pick out throw pillows if your roof is leaking or your air conditioner is not working or leaking. You would fix the essentials first, the root things that really run your home. The foo-foo stuff, the extra stuff, that would come later. So I want you to think of your body the same way, even though I stress on a daily basis that the body is one unit working together synergistically. You still, you wouldn't worry about some brown spots you have, on your cheek if your whole gut health is, in disarray. So really sit down and give yourself the time to write down everything that's going on with your body. And don't do it in a fashion where you're trying to seek information to give yourself a disease. Sometimes that internet boy, you put in 3 symptoms and all of a sudden you think you have 90 days to live. So be careful. I'm just talking about for you and yourself, not to click into WebMD, but just to kind of take a diary or journal about how you're feeling. And in this, if you do take the time to really at length put down your body's situation, take also the time to think of when does it get worse? when does my stomach feel the most upset? When is the pain in my fingers at its worst pain? And when is the dryness in my eyes the worst? Like, is there something that happens emotionally? Am I fighting with family members and, I'm really in pain and distension and it's hard for me to walk, my tingles and my toes get worse? Believe it or not, it is proven that there is a direct connection with our thoughts in our brain and our feelings and our human condition. So really try to put that all on paper, and it helps not only when you come into health food stores or you're walking into your doctor's offices, because they do not have the time normally. They do their best to really get at the nitty-gritty, but it's really up to us to be our own advocates and get to the bottom line of what's going on. And then when you have this list, obviously on the list we think of things, really quickly. We put them down, then go through that list. And I love my highlighters. I just absolutely love highlighters. And so take, a few colors and mark, like for me, red always means urgent, priority. So kind of mark the things on your list that you feel you cannot handle anymore. These things are just making work or life or family time extremely difficult. Like obviously if you have arthritis in your fingers and you can't, grab your coffee cup in the morning or open a doorknob, okay, that's number one. That's going to be flag red. But if it's occasional anxiety that only pops up once every 3 months, that's going to be more like a green highlight. So, get a few different highlighters and mark a priority list, okay? It's, some people call it the honey to-do list, but this is for you to take care of yourself. So you get to the first thing and then work on that as far as, strategize with, your healthcare provider, or, if you're shopping in health food stores and you use holistic chiropractors or Reiki or whatever you choose to use, bring this list into them because they're not at home with you. They're not inside your body. Some of them do not have the time to really do this with you. So do this for yourself, okay? And then the next thing is after you do that, and you're going to the doctor's office, keep in mind, and this is a sad fact, and I know this to be a fact, that when you go into the medical system, they're going to want to test you for everything, okay? This is, we all know prescription drugs in the medical system, it is a business. It is a business, just like all other businesses. They find ways to make money, to make more profit, to have, bigger buildings, bigger parking lots, pay the doctors more, whatever it is that's happening. It is a business. Just because you get the test doesn't mean that they're saying that's what's wrong with you or that's what you have. They just usually run a whole onslaught of tests, again, part of the business world. So first, think positive. Just strategize and be hopeful, okay? Definitely be hopeful. Everyone knows I always err on the more positive side because I do believe that the body can heal itself if it has the right tools. So definitely, just start at just one day at a time. Now, unfortunately, the toxicity of the body is really at the forefront of why the body gets burdened and things start breaking. So you want to really think of what toxic burdens you're putting on your body. And you don't have to be 100% perfect. You don't have to live in a bubble and think, oh, well, I can't, I really love this or I do this wrong, so I might as well just forget about all that health food quackery or all that crazy stuff. You can't address it that way. You have to look at it. Any good choice is a good choice. Now, do I love when customers come in and say, oh, Joanne, I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to give it 100%. Of course I do. Why? Because they're going to call me in 3 days and say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I already feel better. But I don't care if it takes you a year to get to the point where you feel better. If that's all you can do, just start today. even that breathing exercise we did earlier, start there. Do that 5 count in and hold and out for 5. Do it 5 times a day. Trust me, all of these little things add up and you will start feeling better. So we were talking about the whole house analogy earlier where you would, work on a faulty air conditioning system. I love when we went into Home Depot, they had that guy standing at that table that offered $19.99 for a free AC tune-up. Well, usually I walk right by those tables and I don't even give it the time of day, but I was like, Matt, we need that. And now I have a brother and a brother-in-law that both own air conditioning companies. But, they're over an hour away, and I don't want to bother them for a tune-up. But it's important. This handler is taking all the air from your home that you're breathing in 24/7 and making it cold and kind of cleaning it somewhat. It tries. So it's important to tune that up, clean it up, make sure it's running efficiently. You don't want leaks. You don't want it to break. Oh, my gosh. If anyone lives in Florida this time of year, you do not want to survive without air conditioning. So definitely think of that with our body. So, Cliff, I got a question for you.
Okay.
In the body, what do you think I'm referring to as kind of the air conditioning system?
Let's see. Oh.
What would clean out our body, especially solid matter kind of stuff?
Well, a lot of water would through.
Well, an organ that's already in our body.
A filter, right?
Yep. What's the filter
like the
in?
liver?
That's right. Okay. So the liver, we really, really want to think of, is our liver tuned up? Is it running right? Is it inflamed? Is it fatty?
Is it become a shelf?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so let's first give some love to the liver. Let's think of how can we reduce the amount of work the liver has to do, and then how can we put in things that will help the liver do its job better. So one that I haven't spoken about in so long, and it's so popular and it's still so amazing, is milk thistle. You can get Matt has powdered milk thistle, and I always forget to use it because I put it in this really pretty container on the shelf. But you can buy powder, you can buy tea, you can buy liquid extracts. It's so easy, it's economical. And milk thistle all around the world, and it's been used for a super long time, is great at helping rejuvenating liver tissue, cleaning it out. So it will help you. It's kind of like having a Mac Daddy air filter on your air conditioner. We all know if we let air go directly into that AC, it's not going to be working properly long. You have to have a filter there to control the airflow, to keep debris out of it, clean the air. I have dogs. I need that air filter. So it's the same thing with our liver. You want to help clean it out. So if you haven't tried milk thistle or you've forgotten about it like I did for a while, get milk thistle part into your daily regimen. It is totally safe to take daily. There are companies that make one a days. Again, you can do powder, tea, extract. So milk thistle, great for the liver. The main ingredient is called silymarin. The stuff is phenomenal. So you want to do that. The next thing to help the liver is any superfoods, okay? So superfoods are those things that normally extremely healthy for you. They help every function of the human body, but of course there's no toxic burden to them, and they're only rejuvenating and help clean the body. So one of my favorites today is beets. So beets, some people hate the taste of beets. I absolutely love beets. I can eat them cooked or cold or raw or shredded. I can't get enough beets.
I discovered something about beets. We like salads, and somebody took a grater and a beet, and they cut the raw beet, and they put it on the grater to give it a little purple coloring into the salad. But
I know.
What an
Isn't
awesome
it amazing?
addition.
It's a little sweet, and it's so much nutrition. Phenomenal at lowering blood pressure. Phenomenal for nitric oxide, for the heart, for immune system. I mean, it goes on and on, the nutrients. I just got the NutriBullet shredder. Couldn't resist the sale, and that thing, the first thing I thought of is to grate the beets because they do stain your fingertips red, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And so this looked like it would make life a little bit easier, but you definitely want to try to incorporate that in. There are pills. If you don't want to, eat it, if you don't like the taste, definitely try the pills. There's powder. Dr. Mercola makes an amazing one, fermented beets with spinach pills. Some people even take this for libido, and blood pressure, but it's really good just to help detoxify your liver and keep that blood working properly. So Dr. Mercola's fermented beets, definitely sell at the store. My number one pick for beets. And then last but not least, and remember, all these steps to reduce toxicity and to help your body get stronger, to overcome, autoimmune conditions as well as really any condition, you can do all these steps at once. Sometimes, again, we try to be perfect and just go all in, and we think, okay, first we have to clean, then we're going to get our body all strong. We can do this all together, each day reduce the toxic burden. And I want to kind of give you some ideas how to do that. I skipped this step. So the easiest thing for me to have clients do, because some people do not want to change their diet. They're just like, okay, nope. I love my cheat foods. I don't want to give them up. So then look in your environment first. What are you cleaning your home with? What kind of work environment do you have? Like if I spray my daughter's perfume, oh my gosh, for 2 hours, I feel like my immune system is collapsing. I mean, that stuff is so fake and chemicalized and toxic. Fake deodorants, air fresheners, really the list goes on and on and on for your environment. So first fix that, Definitely, if you're in a work environment, look at the lighting. Do you need to add a plant? Do you need to add a Himalayan salt lamp? Especially if you're around a lot of technology, as I stare at Cliff with all that technology around him.
Oh, my.
Oh,
I'm
my God.
surrounded by
Yeah.
technology.
We have the one room in the house that's, the office, and it's where all the equipment is and stuff. Oh, my gosh, I walk in there, and it's like a radioactive field, It's so I'm thinking, how many Himalayan salt lamps do I need to put in this room to kind of deactivate all this EMF
They
off
do
gassing?
work.
I love them. We both love them. So, first look at your environment. It's a lot easier to work on that sometimes too, because some of our behaviors, especially if it comes to, alcohol, smoking, sugar, caffeine, energy drinks, those things are crazy addictive. I mean, I fight with it every day, and once I give in a little, it's almost like, oh boy, the door's open, now I want more and more. Well, I had a little rice last night, what's a little pasta today? I had a little bit of bagel, it was sprouted, but now I'm gonna have a tortilla wrap. It's crazy how you can spin out of control so quickly. So my advice when it comes to sugar and starch is don't do it. If that is one that might have to be cold turkey, because once you introduce that addictive food into your diet, it's really hard to get the control again. So yeah, I call it a sugar monster for a reason, because that thing is brutally hard to give up. And so so the environment, definitely easier. Do that. And then the next thing is putting all the good stuff in. So your gut health, pre-probiotics. Everyone has heard of probiotics. That's your good, healthy bacteria. You can get phenomenal choices. I have a huge sale going on with Garden of Life right now. Tons of different choices for good probiotics. Anything from mood health, urinary tract, vaginal health, colon health, prostate health. There's so many different strains of great bacteria that help us, all clinically studied, completely safe for infant up. I would definitely check out probiotics, but everyone forgets about a pre-probiotic. That is an undigestible fiber. And what does that mean to us? It's like the fertilizer that gets the whole body ready for the probiotics. So your intestinal tract, it's this huge field that can get damaged. It can get inflamed from leaky gut, acidic food, acidic lifestyle, stress, not chewing your food, putting tons of prescriptions in there, alcohol. I mean, it really disturbs the environment, so the probiotics can't do their proper job. And leaky gut has definitely been proven to cause so many, if not all, of these autoimmune conditions. So you put this pre-probiotic in your gut. Some of them actually even have a really nice sweet taste, these fibers that are undigestible. They're not unpleasant. You can just stir them into water, add them into your smoothies if you want, and they just make this incredible environment so your probiotics can get in there and just do their job properly. I always say, if maids go on strike in a big building, that junk in those dirty rooms pile up fast. So the pre-probiotic is the same way. The probiotics can't go in there until that pre-probiotic fertilizes and gets the groundwork ready for them. And then once you have probiotics in, oh my God, they do wonders. When your gut is healthy, you absorb nutrients better, and it keeps the bad guys that are going through your intestines, your large and small intestines, as they go through, it doesn't let it out. It keeps it sealed to go and evacuate like it's trying to do. But as it's traveling through, if there's leaky gut going on, oh my gosh, then things are passing through that were never meant to get in or get out. So you really need to take care of your gut health. Extremely, extremely important. All right, Cliff, I think we're on to that first break time. We're going to be back real quick, so thank you again for listening, and give us a couple minutes. We'll be right back.
As a matter of fact, if you've got any nutritional-related questions about the things that Joanne's been talking about on today's show, why don't you give her a call right now, 340-1590. We'll be right back with more Joanne's World of Nutrition on WPSL.
Guiding the Treasure Coast in health, one person at a time. That's their motto at Joanne's Nutrition World, Suite 121, in the historic arcade building on US 1, downtown Fort Pierce. Joanne brings more than 25 years of experience in the natural health industry, right here to you. Take advantage of this free personal guide to wellness and good health. Meet with Joanne herself and get started. Nutrition World always provides you with the hottest new product lines, natural and homeopathic remedies, herbals, and best of all, expert advice from the people who care. Call Joanne at 464-3598, 464-3598, and learn the correlation between diet and great health. Stop in today. The expert guidance to health is always free at Nutrition World. Nutrition World, Suite 121 in the Arcade Building, US 1, downtown Fort Pierce. WPSL Treasure Coast weather with meteorologist Glenn Glazer is brought to you this hour by Seacoast Air Conditioning.
Rain chances are lower today here on the Treasure Coast, but this afternoon there's still a chance for isolated rainfall. Rain chances will decrease along the coast and increase inland throughout the afternoon. Winds will remain breezy out of the southeast. High temperatures reach the low 90s under partly sunny skies, and the heat index will be around 100 degrees through the afternoon. The risk for rip currents remains elevated along area beaches. I'm WPTV Storm Team 5 meteorologist Glenn Glazer for WPSL 1590, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
Weather this hour is brought to you by Seacoast Air Conditioning, your hometown air conditioning company since 1982. For repairs or a whole new system, call 772-466-2400.
Comfort crisis? Don't roast. Call Seacoast.
Have you ever had a real gut feeling that this is one great show to listen to?
Oh, that was good.
Now back to Joanne's World of Nutrition.
Hello, everyone. I promise we didn't spike our coffee on break.
No.
Oh my gosh, yes. But that is so funny, though. You know, there are a lot of, on social media, you'll see a lot of those cartoon things about gut health, and they really make it look simplified, you know, where they show the intestines as this tiny little part with the little healthy microbes going in. But, you open up the intestinal field and it's humongous with the billions of villi and yeah, it's crazy. So our bodies are amazing. We don't need to figure out every little bit of it, everything about the cells, everything about the organs. I tell people that is one of the problems. If we try to overthink and overfigure out, that's when we stress ourselves more. We think we have all these diseases. Just really common sense. If you put junk in you and you keep thinking junky thoughts, yes, you're going to get junk out. Don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, but we overthink. We think too much into it. We try to analyze it, and we imagine way too sinister.
It is way sinister. And the problem is that the internet, which is a remarkable, amazing tool to use, it literally, you can Google like one symptoms and press click, and 3 very serious diseases come up right away. And it's just like, I really like a horoscope. All of a sudden you read into it, it's like, oh my gosh, that's it, I have 1 day left to live. It's, you really have to be careful of that click, that enter button. Yeah. But I definitely want to stress that I really believe we are a miracle. If you give the right tools, things will heal and definitely be positive. And autoimmune, so I watched a video that my friend sent to me, the one that her son is suffering. And it was 2 hours, an hour and 56 minutes long, so 2 hours long. And normally I wouldn't watch the show the way that it was presented. It seemed like it was just selling something. But because I love her so much, I started listening. And I'm so glad I did, because it was not selling anything. But I guess they were trying to make it look really catchy so people would click on it. But it was definitely great. And I did promise another listener last night over the phone, Ron, if you're listening, I did try to send it to you. I couldn't share it. The documentary or the series does say that there's 24 hours left, and so I was already past that mark. So I'm going to try to find another way to access it to share it with you if you are listening. But it was phenomenal information. So obviously I can't cover everything in a radio show that this 2-hour documentary presented. But the bottom line is this: when I went to school, all these autoimmune conditions were not even taught or discussed, okay? As years went on, people started mentioning conditions that other specialists or doctors were telling them they had, but then their primary cares were saying, oh, no, that's not real. That doesn't exist. This is all in your head. You're just depressed. Go buy a new outfit. Go take a vacation. And they weren't even recognized. And so autoimmune conditions has baffled some doctors over many years. And even today, people go in with a certain set of symptoms and they get numerous tests and they still come out without answers. But of course, the client, the patient, needs something, so they start getting biologics, prescriptions, and more tests. And they end up usually worse off, more drugs with more symptoms. So it's kind of crazy. So if you are in that situation, all I can say is, why not take a step back and realize what you're experiencing today is a result of your lifetime of choices. Nothing occurs in our body that was last night's meal or last night's, argument. It's things that have accumulated over the years. So if you have something happening today and you say, but I've been doing so good this last month. I haven't been eating ice cream at night. I've been eating my vegetables. I've been drinking my water. I've been taking my walk. That's awesome. And good choices are definitely going to add up. But what you're experiencing is a result of lifetime choices. So I have things that I did when I was younger that are creeping up on me. And so I have to unravel that and make up for that. So we all do. So instead of beating yourself up or trying to figure it out, just take action. So reduce the toxicity And in the diet, I hope I don't have to stress what's the most toxic things, but I will say that it stresses, even in this documentary about our grain foods, especially wheat. And one of the startling things that this doctor said, which really opened my mind to how bad it is, and I've avoided it for many, many years, even before celiac was around or discussed, before the gluten conversation came up, I've always avoided wheat. But what it said is that genetically modified wheat is not even as bad as what we did to the wheat before that, which is we didn't genetically modify it, but we made it where we spliced it with other different grass and weeds so that way it was have a higher yield, like an 8-time yield, and we called it dwarfing the wheat. That is definitely considered by some leading experts that is more dangerous than GMOs, which GMOs are so dangerous. So that statement is really scary. So if all this stuff seems a little overwhelming to you and a little bit like, oh my gosh, I can't live like that, at least give it a try. What would 90 days staying away from, flour and wheat and eating more vegetables, drinking more water, thinking more positive, getting more fresh air and exercise, what would be the worst thing that could possibly happen? You feel better? So if I'm wrong, okay, you can call the show and say it, but I've never really had anyone ever in 35 years say that, because it's impossible. It's actually impossible. If you take out your toxic burden and you put good nutrition in, you will feel better in some way, somehow. Now, does it make all these things disappear that you're suffering with? Of course not. Over time, the body heals at the time it can. But I would definitely give it a try. So autoimmune conditions, okay, is when the body starts attacking its own cells. And so it really is tricky. So rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, celiac disease, MS, that's just to name some. Like Sjogren's, that's when you have like dry eyes and dry mouth. For years, I never heard of one person with that. Now, maybe one a day. That's crazy to me, how these conditions barely existed and now it's common. So a little bit to think about that, okay? So that means what is going on? The one thing that's going on is that our food is getting more chemicalized, industrialized. We're getting a little bit lazier. So, we have to really just think common sense. Okay, if these conditions weren't around, what changed that all these conditions are coming up? And then the other thing I definitely want to stress, okay, is that while the drugs might give you a temporary solution, and I definitely call it temporary, because if you think about most of the drugs, they're anti-inflammatories, painkillers. They do not solve any of the problems. So once you get on what I call that prescription drug roller coaster, it's a little tricky to get off. So definitely do your homework, be your own advocate, and take that inventory journal. So in case you missed the first half of the show, I really stress, and even online, you can print nutritional consult questionnaires. I am not saying to use this instead of going to a professional, but the time allowance that you have when you go for these appointments are usually really short. Some of them, it's within, minutes, 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 15 minutes. So if you have a good understanding of what your body is going through and the things that connect. So for instance, I know, and this is getting real specific, but I know this. If I do flour products, so say I wake up in the morning and I have a bagel, and then at lunch I have a wrap, and then for dinner I might have pasta. Now this would be an extreme day for me. Even on vacations I would never try to eat like this. But if I did that, then my gut health or bowels, okay, specific, would not work normally for 3 days. Okay? Now, you have to kind of think about your body that way, because it's going to help so much for you to understand, why do I have a toxic burden? So if your body is not eliminating, then obviously all that stuff is getting backed up. All those poisons, all those chemicals, all the residue and dead tissue and cells that are trying to evacuate, now they have no way to get out because you're not moving your bowels. So a simple taking away a simple bagel for breakfast can help that. So don't try to think that food can't hurt you, because it can, if you're doing it consistently enough where the basic process of elimination gets slowed down. And if you take a laxative, okay, that doesn't really solve the problem, because what does a laxative purge? Everything. What's in your small and large intestine? Good bacteria, minerals. So all those things are already so little in your body, and now you're evacuating more. So definitely, do that diary or do that journal and consider all your choices and the results of the choices, and it will definitely help you. And then there is there is a caller on line 1. That's great. I was getting a little out of breath there with my speech. So good morning, Harry. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, great.
Loud and clear. 2 or 3 years ago, when you were on the air before with WPSL, you talked for a while about coconut oil.
Oh, yes.
The cleansing powers, etc.
Oil
And
pulling.
I heard you and followed your advice, and I think it's been excellent. I've done it every day since I heard you.
Oh, that is awesome. And
Just wanted to thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I did my oil pulling this morning, and I think, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I discovered that too, because it really is amazing. So I'm so glad you're still doing it, Harry. Thank you so much for calling. I really appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Is there any update on that, or maybe for a future show?
No, well, that's the whole thing is, it's great that over like 2,000 years, and it's still the same way to do it. And the only thing is, we do coconut oil where they did sesame oil back in the old days. But,
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned on a show when I first started back about using oregano oil after. I do that 1 drop of that, but there's definitely no new info about oil pulling. But I don't know, Harry, if I mentioned this on the show you were listening to, but even ingesting coconut oil, it has a ton of MCT, medium chain triglyceride, which kills fungus and mold, which is one of the leading causes of cancerous cells. So if you're just doing oil pulling, I would definitely take the oil itself as part of your food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we use it in cooking, but
Awesome.
Okay, but thank you, and I may stop by at some point in your store.
Well, I would look forward to that. Thank you so much, Harry. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do the Dr. Mercola's MCT oil. We do it in the morning with our bulletproof coffee, and then I try to consume coconut oil. Like last night, we had it over, organic, non-GMO popcorn with some nutritional yeast.
Oh, but that's good.
Oh my gosh, Barleans makes coconut oil that naturally, nothing synthetic added, no chemicals, tastes like butter.
Wow.
It's amazing. You put that over. We do the air pop non-GMO popcorn, and then we sprinkle the nutritional yeast. We were doing Connect karaoke last night with the family.
That's right, right
and
toast.
Literally the kids were like taking the popcorn and like smearing it along the sides of the bowls to get as much of
Like
that
they do
yummy
with the butter,
flavor.
yeah.
Oh my God, it's so good, so yummy, so yummy. It's delicious. And that's like a perfect example where you can still enjoy. You just choose wisely what is your, treat food, So I never even used to eat popcorn, as a starch, but I much rather have that than something that's like chocolate chip cookies, which I really want that. I mean, my sugar monster says, eat the chocolate, eat the cookies, eat the cake, eat the ice cream. but I know the detriment from tooth decay to bad vascular system to bad bowel health. I mean, it destroys us, and we all know it. We all are feeling it. Everyone that's coming in the store at younger and younger ages are having so many issues: heartburn, blood pressure, cholesterol, weakness, tiredness, can't go to sleep. They're so tired, but they can't even sleep. It's crazy, the level of pain and uncomfortableness people are living with. So there are solutions, though. So let me start into solutions. Okay, so the number one solution is Curamed. I love it. I take it. I have everyone I know and love take it. Every customer that comes in, we talk about it. Curamed is by Terry Naturally. It is clinically studied. I've been to 3 of their medical workshops. It's amazing stuff, totally safe. From anything you could imagine, starts with inflammation. So this stuff brings down the inflammation, and it is more cost effective than really anything else that you might try. CBD oil is definitely as amazing as Curamed, but it's a little pricier. So the CBD oil, I think, works a little faster. So if you can budget for CBD oil and you have an autoimmune condition, I would definitely get in the store today and start taking it. There's really, I don't know why anyone would be fearful with trying CBD oil or Curamed if they have an autoimmune condition, because it's only going to help you, and it is economical. There is nothing negative about it. There is no THC. There's no worries of side effects. It's amazing stuff.
I've told people that the CBD oil is the medical part of marijuana. When you, because it's in that too, but it's in the hemp that makes it legal and able for you to sell it.
Yeah,
But
honestly,
that's the
Cliff, I don't
medicine.
even bring up the big M word because people get so
stigmata.
nervous.
Yeah.
You know, they get nervous. It's not marijuana. It's not going to make you high.
No, it's not the THC.
Yeah, my
It's-
children use it. My son takes it like almost on a daily basis at this point. It's extremely safe, extremely valuable. Autistic children are getting phenomenal results. It helps the brain, the pain, the
Epileptic children.
digestive disorders, Crohn's, IBS, gastritis, everything. And it's so funny because I'm not used to selling it. So I have to admit that I always talk about Curamed because for years I've taken Curamed. I've sold it to everyone, and it has amazing benefits. So if you have a budget to do both, how phenomenal is that? Your body is going to have such an influx of anti-inflammatory action that you will feel better. I'm going to put this out there right away. I mean, 10 minutes. I'm not joking. Now, the more consistent you are, the better you will be after time, and your symptoms will start dissipating. But you have to commit to it. Heart, mind, body, soul. You have to say, that you're going to give this a try. Because if you go in with fear and nervousness, anxiousness, then those things are going to make you sicker. And yeah, you might not get results. The mind is stronger than any other system.
We can dispel the myth about it, though, because
Yes, it's
it's
totally
not a trick
safe.
It's not a trick to try to recreationalize anything. This is
Exactly.
perfectly legal and non-THC.
All right, I will bring up a story because you're reminding me. So yesterday a woman came into the store and she's like coming up to the counter real cautiously, and she like crunches down and she looks up and she's like, "Hey." I'm like, "Hi, how are you?" She goes, "I'm here for, the oil." And I'm like, "You mean CBD?" "Yes, the CBD."
Oh, she was whispering.
And she's whispering, and I'm kind of like
And she's looking around.
giggling. And she goes, "But I have the card. I have the card. Should I get out the card?" I said, "Well, you don't need the card here. This is pure CBD oil. It has no THC, so no mind-altering effects, and you get the benefit." And she goes, "Oh, okay, so I can just take it off the shelf?" And I'm like,
Yep.
"Yes." I said, "Some people do have the card for the prescription one, but most people don't like that mind-altering effect.
Right.
So they get mine, and maybe at night they use the other. That's really up to them. but it was kind of making me giggle the way she was like all whispery and like conspiracy like. So definitely try to get the Curamed into you. Again, very economical. We even sell $2.95 packets. Why do we sell small ones? Because they work with the first pills, so you will feel the result with just a few. And then
what
CBD
about the
oil.
candy with the CBD oil in it? Is that
You know
big?
what? I'm going to discuss that next show because I'm going back and forth with candy and no candy because it's really hard to like if you want less or you want more, you're kind of stuck with what that candy provides. But the other thing too, so you got probiotics, milk thistle, pre-probiotics, beets, your CBD oil, your Curamed, and then last but not least, you definitely want minerals. Your minerals are a catalyst for life. No cellular function happens without minerals. Our soils are completely deficient of minerals. So Garden of Life makes a product called Plant Calcium, but don't let the name fool you. It's full of all the awesome minerals. Again, they're always 20% off. All the other supplements are 10. And then your green foods. So anything that you buy in a produce section that's green, that's bitter, phenomenal. I really, really appreciate you guys listening. And I just, don't even take my word for any of this. Just try it. And if you don't feel better, I'm wrong and I'm sorry, but I really think you will. So give this stuff a try. Have an awesome week, and I'll be back in 1 week to tell you all about my Nashville Isogenics adventures.
Okay.
And thank you again, everyone.
You've been listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World, US 1, between Orange Avenue and Avenue A in Fort Pierce, the historic arcade building directly across the street from Fort Pierce City Hall. Why don't you drop by Joanne's World of Nutrition World today? Try that CBD oil. Okay. This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast. Dr. Stewart Scheib's Holistic Health Hour coming up.